We know that famous hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, the one who reads the Quran and he is fluent in its reading, and he reads it without any trouble, then he is with kiram al-barara. Al-kiram al-barara are the angels, those close angels to Allah, the scribes of Allah, those great angels. And the one who struggles and he keeps stumbling, then he has 2 rewards. So there's an encouragement for everyone to read the Quran as much as possible, especially in this beautiful month, the month of Quran. It does not mean that the one who is stumbling is better than the one who is fluent and eloquent in the reading of Quran. No, this is not what is meant. He has 2 rewards, yes, but the one who is better is in that company of angels. He's eloquently reading and reciting, and he can recite much more. But to get to that stage, you have to go through a lot of hardship, a lot of struggle. Maybe years and years it'll take you to get to that level. But every single one of us should aim high. Aim high. Our aspiration should be, fixed on what the Salaf used to do. And we should at least do more than those around us. This is a competition. Ramadan is a competition when it comes to good. We heard in that hadith where the angel is calling every single day, "O you who wants good, come forth." This is a race. How are you going to make yourself stand out above the rest when it comes to Allah? Everyone, when it comes to all other situations, when it comes to the classroom, at work, you want to stand out. You want to make your mark. When it comes to Allah, how is your situation? How is our situation? Do we want to make our mark when it comes to Allah's words? If not, there's something wrong. Quickly mentioning ways of neglecting the Quran. First and foremost, obviously, is not to believe in the Quran. That is the worst way of neglecting the Quran. After that is not listening to it, not reciting it. There are people who will go through most of Ramadan and they will not set a portion of the day for themselves, not even a minute portion, and they don't recite the Quran. And they don't hear the Quran. They're busy in their work. They make Ramadan like any other month. They are great losers. Because Ramadan is the time we have to make different to all other times. Allah chose it, made it special. So make it special. Feel the blessings of Ramadan. Not studying the Quran, not understanding the Quran, this is another way of neglecting it. Striving to do this. And there's no excuse now. You can pick up the tafsir in English. Ibn Kathir. The summarized Ibn Kathir is in English. And even that summarized version, you don't even have to buy it. You can download it off the net, free of charge. Subhanallah, everything on a platter in front of us. The companions used to go miles and miles to get the interpretation of a single verse. Thus they used to appreciate it much more than we do. We get everything on a platter in front of us without doing any work, and we don't even bother looking at it. If this is our situation, make that intention right now. Make that plan. I'm going to change that. I'm going to make the utmost effort to dedicate as much time as possible. And don't just make it theory. Plan it. Write it down if you have to. Book holidays. Practically make that time. And make it practical in the sense, right, I can't do it when all the kids are awake. I can't do it when I have all these chores to do at home. Whoever you may be, woman or man, whatever you have to do at home, you know your routines. So add in that routine when there is a good time, when there isn't so much going on around you, hustle and bustle, so you can focus on Quran. That is the way we're meant to be. And finally, we have not conveying what is in the Quran. That is neglecting the Quran. Not conveying the Quran's message. And also not judging with the Quran in our personal affairs, in our communal affairs. On every single scale, if we don't convey that message and implement that message of Quran, we have truly neglected the Quran. This is the month of Quran. So that means the implementation of that Quran has to be much more than normal. It shouldn't be the same level as every other month. If it is, we're losing out. We're not acting like the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ was his most generous, his best in Ramadan. That's how we have to be. to conclude this topic, this section about the Quran, I just want to quote the hadith of Ahmad and Ibn Majah and others, in which Allah says, the Prophet ﷺ says about Ahlul Quran. He says, Allah has a family, Ahlina. Inna lillahi ahlina fin nas, or minan nas. Allah has a family on this earth amongst the people. They said, Ya Rasulullah, who are the family of Allah on this earth? The Prophet ﷺ replied, Ahlul Quran hum ahlullahi wa khasatuhu. Ahlul Quran, the people who memorize Quran. The people who are constantly reciting Quran night and day. And the people who are acting and implementing Al-Quran, they are Allah's family. They are Allah's close ones. They are the ones He loves more than anyone else. This is what everyone wants, the love of Allah. Who doesn't want to be the family? Those close people of Allah. Family, in a sense, they are the closest to you. This is what every single Muslim desires. Because many people love Allah, but how many people has Allah chosen to truly love? That is what we want. Moving on to the next issue. When Ramadan approaches like it is approaching now, and it's very, very close, we can almost taste it. We have to remember the greatness of this month so that we appreciate it and that we value it so that we don't waste any portion of it. So we need to remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in Muslim, where he mentions lots of things that are expiations. One of them, he says, Ramadan to the next Ramadan is an expiation, a kafara for that which is between them. The sins that you've committed, just imagine, they're dropping off you. Just by fasting in the first Ramadan and then doing the same in the next Ramadan. The greatness of Ramadan, alleviating you of sins. And there's none of us who doesn't have sin. Not only that, just think about the fact that the angels, certain angels have been created, and from the moment they were created until Yawm al-Qiyamah, all they're going to do and all that they do is they make ruku to Allah. They make sujood to Allah. They don't do anything else. They've been worshipping Allah like that, and they're going to continue until Yawm al-Qiyamah. And then when Yawm al-Qiyamah comes, they say, Ya Rabbi, give us a bit more time because we haven't worshipped you the way you deserve to be worshipped. The way you deserve to be worshipped. What about us? There's more taqseer, there's more falling short when it comes to worshipping Allah the way He deserves from humans, definitely, than when it comes to the angels. The angels never get tired, never become weary. We always become tired. We become forgetful. This in itself is not worshipping Allah the way He deserves to be worshipped, is a fault. But Allah is Al-Ghafoor, Ar-Rahim, Ar-Rahman. He's the one who forgives. He's the one who looks over. He's the one who pardons. So for this, just imagine, Allah is setting everything up for you. Take it with both hands. One Ramadan to the next Ramadan is an expiation. Then remember the saying in Sahih Muslim of the Prophet ﷺ. In a hadith Qudsi, the Prophet ﷺ says, my slave draws close to me with nothing more beloved to me than that which I have obligated upon him. Ramadan is a pillar of Al-Islam, obligation by Allah. Allah loves this action. He loves it more than any other voluntary deeds you could possibly do. Then the hadith continues, Allah says, and then my slave keeps on getting closer to me, keeps coming closer to me with all the other optional and recommended deeds until I love him. This is the way to attain the love of Allah. And this is Ramadan. Allah is giving you every opportunity to gain His love and forgiveness. So take it with both hands. Moving on to some of the deeds that we can do and that we must do in Ramadan. One of the greatest of these deeds, we have the salah. We mentioned the salah, the tarawih, or the qiyamul layl. These are things that we all know. The siyam is obligatory. The qiyam is optional, recommended, highly recommended.